right, and then from here, what I want to do is type in a box. Center box works just fine. We're going to do some tower studies tonight. Excuse me. Type in 15. Excuse me. And then just make, we could probably combine the X and the Y. And then we're going to line those up. I'm going to make the Z a little bit long or bigger, so we actually get a tower within there. We're going to type in populate 3D. Our R goes into the box. That'll generate our points. We're going to give it 25 points for now. Then from here, we need to type the N into the actual number slider. We're going to type in interpolated curve. That'll give us kind of a random sweeping curve through here. Okay, I can just hide all those. Then from here, we're going to type in divide curve. We're going to give it some points. I'll type in 25. We'll bump that up just a little bit, maybe about 50. Okay, just like so. And then from here, we're going to go to Chromodorus, plugin for Grasshopper. We're going to need a build isosurface, and we're going to need a sample voxels. So sample voxels needs points. And then from here, we can type for the isosurface. We can plug in the B to the B, the D to the D. And then we need the actual voxel size. I'm going to type in 1 period. That'll give us 3 digits at the end. Plug that into the S. We can copy and paste the second one down. That'll start to, we're going to hide everything that we did previously except for the isosurface. And then we can copy and paste for the actual isosurface a number slider as well. Then from here, I'm going to bring down the sample size. This portion here might, I think it has to be bigger. This is kind of the searching portion. The bigger the search, the slower your computer will be. Okay, we're going to increase the number of points we have. Voxel size, lower we go, the slower it gets. So we'll leave it semi-high. Then our sample value, let's bring that up. Or lower? Ooh, lower, not higher. So we can bring that back down. Okay. This is what we're getting so far. And we're going to bring that a little bit higher so we start to connect some of these meshes through here. Actually looks pretty cool as is. So I'm going to just work with this for now. If we want to change it, we definitely can later. Okay, and then now I'm just simply going to type in contour. Contour into the newly built mesh. We'll give it a dimension. Let's do 1 period. Bring that up to here. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to hide our isosurface, and then we're going to rebuild these curves we just built. So see into the contours. We'll type in 3 because I want a 3-degree curve, because what we're going to try to do is do an upshot tonight. And I'm going to type in 55 for the number of points I want in each one of these 3-degree curves. Okay, I'm going to bring that up higher. As you can see, I'm pretty picky on laying stuff out. All right, that's looking pretty cool so far. Some of these I'm not too particular about, like those weird edges. So like, you know, if we bring these lower, obviously it'll start to look much nicer, but for now it's fine. And then again, I'm going to type in divide, but we're going to do length this time. So C goes into our rebuilt curves. And then I'm going to type in 5 period. And I'll start to break up each one of these curves that we're working with. I bring that a little bit lower. And I am noticing some of these are broken up. So what I want to do is, before we do anything, is type in close curve. I believe this is from Pufferfish, Michael Pryor. So we're going to close off all those curves right after our contour. And then we'll put the close curve into the rebuilt. That'll start to smooth some stuff out. Then we don't get craziness happening. Okay. And then from here, we're going to type in extrude. No, we're going to type in shatter. Plug the C into our rebuilt curves, the small, our lowercase t into T. And from here, we'll type in extrude. And we're going to plug the D with the Z vector into the distance in between the contours. And then we'll start to create some floor slabs. So our contour is at 1, just like so. We'll just wait for it. There we go. And then I want to do some kind of boxy shaped tower looking up. So right now it's pretty curvy. And I particularly do not want that tonight. So let's do bounding box for each one of these. There we go. Now obviously we can increase or decrease everything dependent on what particular look we're looking for. So this is looking actually pretty cool so far. It covers everything, so there's not a lot of empty spaces. This one's a little bit odd. So what I'm going to do, and I can kind of see what's happening. I'm pretty sure there was an opening in the mesh. So before we do close curve, what I'm going to do is actually type in join. Join all curves to make sure the curves are joined up. Then we'll do close curve, and hopefully these will go away. Yep, they certainly do. And then later on we can obviously adjust the ventilation on each one of these, and we will probably be doing that. So let's see what we get from here. And then from here I'm going to type in deconstruct brep, and then we want the faces, so we can add some floor slabs into here. This might take a little bit of time since there's quite a bit of geometry. And then we're going to list out every single one of them. So if I type in list item, we'll go to faces since everything's exploded. I'm going to just hide everything so it speeds up our computer a little teeny bit. I'm going to click this plus sign if we zoom in. And since a cube has 6 sides, we're going to click that +5 since I-axis is 0. Okay, and then we need to figure out the bottom and the top. So this one, this will be our bottom, this will be our top. And to speed stuff up, I'm going to type in mesh brep. Mesh brep. Okay. And we are going to join those, so it speeds up our process a little bit. Meshes are obviously a little bit faster when they're joined together. I'm going to flatten it just for safekeeping. And then from here, I'm going to do this, just copy and paste everything that we just created. I'm going to plug in every single one of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll give us our side walls for this particular little sketch. Okay. And then from here, I'm just going to hide everything so it speeds it up a little teeny bit. All right. So we're finally working with something. Gonna hide that joint so we can start to see what's happening. And I'm thinking there's going to be like just a shot kind of like this, and we got some trees happening, and we could do a ground level one, depending on, that's kind of tricky. Maybe we'll do something like this. Might want to bring the height down so we get some stuff kind of happening as for reflections and all that stuff. We'll see when we get there. Anyway, so I'm going to type into, or just go to Weaverbird, and we're going to do a thickening of mesh. I'm going to type in 0.555. That's going to be our distance for the glass. It looks like that's just pure red, so that's not the greatest thing in the world, and it doesn't bake. So I'm going to just copy and paste that down real quick. We're going to do the same thing for here, and maybe the join is kind of messing it up. Might have to do it singularly. For this particular, for the floor plates, we're going to be doing 1. And 1's way too big, obviously, because our contours are quite large. So I'm going to type in 0.25. No, 0.125. Make them relatively small, and you can start to see them in there. And then we'll join them from here, rather. Okay. And then from here, let's just delete what we had previously, except for that number slider. This number up here is actually going to have to be really small, since 0.125 is already giving us our floor plate dimension. So just copy that up. Okay, we're going to take this, delete it, and then obviously that's going to create something different. Might look cool. I'm not going to look. And then so that's still taking away everything, which is really, really odd. But we'll just plug the thicken into the mesh that we created previously. Okay. And let's see if we can spot the dimension changes. A little bit. I'm going to make it even smaller. 0.0125 or 4, whichever. Wait for it to work. Just like that. Alright. Looking pretty cool. Yeah, it's running relatively fast. So what happens if we decrease the length of the curves that we're shattering? So I'm going to type in, let's not go too crazy, but 2.5. Hopefully we get some more boxes happening. Might take a little bit of time, but it'll definitely increase the resolution. Not really noticeable, but there has to be more, that's for sure. We definitely get these weird little spots in here, but it's fine. We'll just roll with it. So from here, I'm just going to bake these out. And if we go to our rendering in Rhino, that's looking pretty cool. Like a kind of an obese tower that's happening. So for rendering, I'm going to do, let's change this to different materials. Okay. Okay. Alright. And then we got to give it a little bit of a ground space. Currently it's sitting, I'm going to rotate it 180 just because of this portion here. I'm not really liking it. It'll look kind of weird. We got another space in there, but it's not quite as bad. This still looks nice. So what we'll do is just bring this whole model up to the 0, 0, 0 point. Just like so. I'm going to type in bounding box so we can get a ground plane. Perfect. And then let's just bring that out. Just like so. This one's going to be, that should look pretty cool, I think. Should we bring it lower? That's the question. If we bring it lower, we could do multiple of these towers too. Let's do it. So we'll take this, copy it over here. Let's rotate it so it looks a little different. Do another one over here. Looks good. Let's bring our ground plane out a little bit. I'm going to rebuild it. 5 and 3 is not enough, so we need to do 55, 55, 3 degree, 3 degree, just like so. Turn our points on. Let's go up to our select tab up here. Hit the little paintbrush tool. We'll add some hillsides in between everything. I might deselect all these really quickly, just so it looks like it's a rolling hill. Like that. We'll bring it up. So I think our view is right here. So let's add some mounds through there. Okay, we're going to turn those points back on. Make our brush size a little bit smaller. Some nice ravines happening. Select those points. Select these. Then maybe there's a couple more through here. And maybe a couple through here. Okay, those won't be quite as high. I like it. Okay, I'm just going to smooth it all out. Oop, not that smooth. Try it again. There we go. Nice ribbing happening. Make sure these aren't floating. Go like that. I'm going to make the center one just slightly taller. Bring it up. It's not super centered in that little valley there. That's all right. Okay. So that looks pretty cool. Could add some water. Obviously, let's turn our points back on. Let's do some water through here. If we select the model, that's totally fine. I'm going to do kind of an inlet through here. And some water through here. Just like so. We'll deselect our models that we're working with. Okay. And then we'll bring that landform up just a little teeny bit more. And then I'm going to bring in a plane. That'll be our water material that we're working with. Wait for it to work. A lot of mesh is happening. A lot of vertexes, so give it a little bit of a chance to respond. Okay. So we got some water. I'm going to bring that a little bit lower, just like so it kind of looks more like puddles. And then I'm going to change that material. And then we're going to do some just mainly grass, as per usual. I'm going to bring all this a little bit so it's inboard. And then from here, these ones are going to be in the water. This one will be on an island. Just like so. That should be a pretty cool rendering. So let's see what happens once we get to Lumion. Okay, and then before there, and there's always that mistake they always make, I'm gonna make sure we don't crash just due to 3D grass. So I'm gonna draw a circle around all this. I'm gonna split it, the actual landform, not the water. This one is going to be a different material because our view is actually right here, but we don't actually need all the other stuff to be 3D grass because everything will definitely be different when we get there. So I'm going to export this as a collada file. Okay, let's go to where we're working. Speed. Okay, we're going to reuse the same file we always do. Here we are. We'll just overwrite the existing. Type in Grasshopper again. Oop, wait for it. A lot of meshes, folks. There we go. I'm just going to export this for future reference. Scooch these a little bit closer. All right, really short definition just to make something relatively cool. Okay, 53. Boom, done. All right, we'll go over to Lumion. Wait for this to load up. We're gonna do a blank scene. We'll import. Okay, and we're gonna go desktop. Speed, that's my regular folder. Rename this whole file. Wait for it to import. So this model might be relatively slow just due to the number of meshes. Here we are. I'll drop it in. Just like so. We're going to select it. We'll bring it up higher. Just get out of that white plane that is by default. Okay. And from here, I want to see if we got our scale semi-correct. I don't want to crash it so quick. Let's see what just Grass 2D does. Relatively quick. This model seems really big though. So I'm a little bit nervous about it, but let's just see. We might go back to our Rhino. Let's scale it. Maybe that is 50. Yeah, that's even bigger. And we'll leave it as is. Okay. The background, I'm gonna change it to just 2D grass. I don't know how this foreground's gonna work, so we might just do 3D models rather than putting any extra in there. Okay, the water is water. That's pretty aggressive. Let's keep it like that. That looks nice. And then I'm thinking these are all pretty shiny, so I'm gonna do indoor glass. Maybe this darker stuff. This bottom portion, we're gonna make, let's do something dark, maybe. Darker. Let's see here. I'm I'm curious what this will render out like. So 3 towers, got a lot of reflection happening, which might be really cool. Might want to change that too. I'm just gonna hit OK for now. Let's make sure this is a good one to keep pursuing. Custom style, we're gonna go to realistic, the outdoor scene. We could definitely do some real skies for this one. Thinking, let's do maybe a morning shot. Okay, liking it. We go to add effects again. We're going to do a 2-point camera. Just like that. Okay, and the focal length, I want to be pretty close to the tower so we can see some detail. Okay, so I'm going to save that camera. Make sure it's semi-centered. Looks nice to me. Let's hit the render button just to see what it looks like. Really dark, so we'll have to change that. Really dark. So let's go back to our real skies, make sure the heading is in the right direction. I think that is. So we'll give that a go once more. Really dark. So we'll definitely just try to exit out of this. Maybe sun's actually the best option for this one. Let's go to our light and shadow. Let's add a sun. Bring the sun down just a little bit more. Put the heading in a favored direction. That's at 2. Let's go low. Okay. I really want some clouds. So what I'm going to do is go over to weather and climate. Let's put skies and clouds. Master cloud amount, we're going to bring that really far up because I want some reflections on everything. Low clouds, we'll make them pretty high. And high clouds, we'll leave it low, so we just get really lows. And then let's try rendering that out real quick. This should probably be faster. We'll see what happens. Still really dark. It must be the glass. So I'm going to try to switch out the glass instead of super dark. We're going to try something else. Really dark. Okay. Maybe we try something clear. Not sure if this will help, but at least it'll look a little bit lighter. So when we did the offset of the mesh with the Weaverbird, basically when we have an offset as small as that, a lot of reflections happen. So let's see what this turns out like. That looks better. Might change, it looks a little tan to me, but we'll get there in just a minute. I'm going to bring the sun heading a little bit lower, get kind of a duskier shot. I want some shadows because there's, you know, even though there are boxes in here, there's curvature happening, you know, in a voxelated form. Okay. And then from here, we can start to just add some kind of entouraging. So I'm going to just add a bunch of trees. And I can do this. Switch it out a little bit so they're not all the same. Put some out here. Just clicking away. Let's see what we get. I don't know about that. That view looks better. Let's see what it renders out like. It's all rendering. So sun might have to be higher. Definitely 3D grass. A lot of work. So I'm going to add a few more trees through here. We need some plants all through here. Especially through here. So this is kind of a tricky view, as just like any aerial. The extra detail, it really makes a difference unless you start to add fog and kind of cheapen it up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Let's go back to our trees again. Obviously, trees are going to add quite a bit more rendering time, so be really cautious. Okay, let's see what that view's looking like. It's better. Let's change the sun height just a little bit. Okay, hit the render button one more time. So that's looking cool. Vegetation's looking better. I kind of want to add some fog in the background. Okay, maybe a boat in there too. Some birds. That'll look better. Reflectivity on the tower, I really want to change a little bit. I want to try the 3D grass just to see how much slower everything is. That'll kind of beef up what we're trying to accomplish here. If it's super slow, we're going to go back because it didn't look that bad before. It's not bad at all. Okay, so let's make this grass size a little bit bigger. Just like that. And then we're going to change the reflectivity on the actual glass. Okay, so bring that up. It's a little bit more blue, reflects the sky. And then from here, I'm going to add in, let's see if we can fit a boat into here. We've tried in the past, but it seems like everything is just way too big for the scenes. That one looks pretty good. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. Oop. Oh, shoot. We left that on. Okay, so we'll just select them all. Delete them. Okay, we'll go back to our boat. A little bit smaller. Change the rotation. I like it. All right. Oop. Click. Okay, we're going to add some, maybe no birds this time. Let's just stick to rendering. Okay. And then let's see if we can add a little bit of fog. Or maybe even, the clouds don't really work in this one. Let's see, fog. I want to block out kind of the background, so looks pretty decent. Render that. We might have to change the sun just a little bit, otherwise we can Photoshop it up at the end. That looks pretty cool. floor plates are just acting a little bit, they're just not registering to me. So I'm going to whiten or make them a little bit brighter. Like, it just doesn't necessarily look right. So let's go to materials again. Go to the underside of these. Wait for it to load up. Maybe we just change everything all together. Make it whiter. I'm going to put colorize up. So it's a little bit more white. No reflectivity. No gloss. No reflectivity. There we go. Quite a bit more white. We can bring that relief up. That seems like it'll work. Hit render again. That boat's kind of driving me crazy now. I want to lower it so it actually looks like it's in the water. I'm going to rotate it. All right, we'll mess with the camera just a little bit. Just enough to get the boat. Very nice. I think Photoshop's actually going to be the one that kind of saves this. Fog looks good. Yeah, I kind of like it when the glass wasn't so reflective now. Just a lot of plates happening. Let's try that. Okay, let's zoom in. Ooh. Let's turn that reflection down. Let's see, glossiness. Just curious what it'll look like for sure. So that looks a little bit more milky. I think I like it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, we can mess with glass all night. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a great night, and I'll try to make this rendering work and try to keep these tutorials up. So anyway, have a good one, and we will be seeing each other soon.